He cut the check for you. That's what that's for.
So where you guys headed?
We go up between Creed and Lake City and kind of hang out all around we've got lakes and fishing and kayak and four-wheel and Jeep and
You take a bunch of stuff with you.
yeah, we look like a gypsy caravan,
Why
yeah.
don't you just buy you a semi?
We can't
Well,
afford a semi.
They just hook one hitch to the next.
We just put a ball on that thing and we can hook it up. Turn wide. Got it.
Hey, Eugene.
There you go.
Alrighty, let's see here.
Got the balance of your hotel, or yeah, and your travel advance,
Okay.
and I reprinted your confirmations for all your stuff.
Warm day.
Warm day. Gonna be warmer tomorrow.
Yeah, summertime.
That's in 2 weeks. Friday, so looking forward to it. I finally found somebody to take care, babysit at the house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, she's a senior that is coming here,
Mhm.
and she's very active in school, almost
Hey,
a
what?
straight A student.
I believe Paul Mahoney.
And
It's not the
fairly
first
poor
time, Scott,
family.
let's be honest.
Thank you. Too late, Mr. Bill's already
Figure
blamed for what happened.
$65 a day
Good word.
That's right.
to stay at the house and watch the kids.
I
That's not
believe
bad.
that.
Spread that
Were
around.
you at that meeting that we talked about did you make it?
I did part of it, I just did the first part.
Uh,
I had to leave.
Did you take any of the pamphlets?
We
that
can
you
vote the
out?
mayor pro temp out.
You can.
I don't remember.
I
that.
can't remember who.
Hey there, Ed.
Who was there and who wasn't.
How you be?
Nice and warm,
Right?
and it hasn't even got summer yet.
When's the first day of summer, 22nd?
22nd.
I'm ready. I'm tired of all this cold.
What?
Cool.
I like cool.
No, man, it ain't no.
I'm not a heat going gal.
I don't think I've ever been up there where you're talking about.
Well,
But that's not saying that.
It used to be really gorgeous until we had those.
Where's her honor
The
at?
complex fires a couple of years ago. That was all part of
Mm.
that. South Fork.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you know, they've got fires over in that area again.
Yeah, Continental, and yeah, we're watching them.
She's in the bright light city of Las Vegas.
Oh, party time. Hello, G. How are you?
They call
Doing good.
Mike's 50th birthday, they're over there celebrating.
Oh.
Actually, I can spread out. No, I can't.
No,
I'm gonna have to push Elaine.
push Elaine over to my spot.
Push her over.
Hungry for a cup. Always seems like
And I've got all your CML information. You could sign here, inside here is the balance, a check for the balance of your hotel and your travel advance, made out to you. And I did put all your confirmation numbers and everything
Oh,
in the
great.
packet for you.
You're a good lady.
So if you can sign that for Mr. Russell. Russell Brooks, these are accounts payable. These are the forms, he actually keeps all of these because it shows all the checks and the paperwork.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
thank you.
Hey, Bill?
Yep.
Did you order that attachment for the backhoe that I sent you the other day?
Oh,
That little
shovel?
That little shovel.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need any help.
There was a thing about why it takes so long to repair stuff in Vegas. This guy's operating the backhoe. When it comes up, he's only got a little shovel about this size. Do the screen.
Well, the one with the teeth, the little handle stickers.
Shannon.
Get a shovel in.
Hey there, sir.
How are you?
All right, yourself?
Good. How you
That
doing,
is
gal?
hilarious.
In fact, it's kind of funny. because then, that's why things take so long in
Can I
Las
snap your
Vegas.
suspenders?
So we know now why Jeffrey's over there to check his stuff.
Good
Hello, how are you?
Do some
Hello.
inspections.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I should have sent that to her so she could check out that attachment, knows what we're paying for.
Yeah, there you go, that's what you're paying
This is
for.
what we're proving.
Just to let you know.
Teach you for taking off.
You need me to turn this way? You need me to turn this way like so?
I was thinking maybe it was turned the wrong way.
Yes, it was.
Ah,
But there you are. What is that?
thank you.
I was turning right.
This is your
Appreciate
standout
it.
information.
Oh.
So inside here, I have
So how's everybody
check
over
for the
there?
balance of the hotel.
Everyone's good. My daughter made a decision, so
We
she's
copy all of
going
these
to
confirmations.
some
So
of
you
the
can sign from here, I can give that to
Indiana.
our township.
The last day to her next step.
Now remember, you have to update your service start.
In May, so
Because then they have the rooms that you don't take off.
We didn't lose the job.
Been there, done that.
Double check your stuff.
yeah.
How you doing? You want your golf ball?
I'm sorry. I think, I have,
I was looking at it, cool.
I have a therapeutic spray.
Well, they're not outside.
I just use all this stuff in
And I read
here.
in the side effects.
It's a suburb, and
Still have it.
Do you? I'm coughing every once in a while too.
Oh, the.
But I think it's wrong.
See, not for once in a while, every day.
Oh,
It's not constant cost every day, but quite a few times a day. She just can't, of course, she gets one like that almost every winter, but this is the longest it's lasted. I don't want that cough again, man. I know it's a bad.
You know, I have had it so much that I know when I hear it, and we had to change to a different clinic.
That's my brother Freddie.
And they did see me last winter, and I was.
does he not know it's
wondering
coming?
He don't know it.
if They were doing this about it.
I have no idea.
And
I, I've heard it, but I can't
wish we had a
remember.
little more selection of
What?
medical
what was,
Purchase power.
preference, but it just when it comes to.
got it.
I know it's something in there, but
Thank you.
my mind has been
I got it.
fried, cooked,
But-
overboiled.
Cough is really
Well done.
annoying.
Oh, yeah.
PDA, that's what I thought he was talking about. PDA.
And then allergies cause it.
I'm
You
hoping-
give prices on PDA?
But if I could see it,
Got it again.
if now Bill would do Rick's report,
PDA?
would be perfect.
Yeah,
Public display of
Bill,
affection?
boing, we're out.
Okay.
it's not as chatty Cathy, huh?
Well, cough comes from me, but
No chatty
that's the
Cathy.
worst I've had in all my life.
When was it this year?
Oh, here's.
It's all on one page, so.
Do you have a regular doctor
Yeah.
to get to?
No, I don't. All my, Dr.
He says
Slaughter
that
was
you
my
can give
doctor,
us classes
but,
on PPA, but I thought
There
you
you
said
go.
PDA.
Well, I know, I get.
Everybody's trying to figure out what PPA is.
Well, I was going to
What I need to find is
traditional anyhow,
a brown paper set
but
by
they
popcorn
have
just to
hers
kind
so back
fill it with
up.
those styrofoam
And,
cans.
you know, I can't get anybody
And mark it
to
earplugs.
Yeah, that
So
could
we can
be.
give it to the audience with the
Hey,
topics so
you know,
much
you
tonight, since
gotta,
I've got
I
to
That
do
was
mean,
the.
PDA, public
Majority.
displays of
But
affection.
we won't
That's
even
what it
know,
is.
probably,
like
you just
that,
kind of
and
snow
celebrate
break
the
the
week.
week.
But,
Show him the thing.
Oh,
There's
wow.
really not.
I was gonna
Not
say,
really.
but my wife has one of the levels she found after
He could show you a
she
thing
got
or
out of the
two.
hospital. And it's a young daughter, and she
Never mind.
seems to be
I'll keep my mouth shut.
real educated.
Oh, I
You
know.
know, so-
No, not you.
I might be interested in learning his name. Because, when I'm sick, I kind of like to help right now.
Well, I don't think a doctor could have gave me anything for that cough that had when it had run its course, but I found a nasal spray at Lowe's store that helped
Like I said, mine not pretty
clean out the mucus. And once I start using that, to clean out
Well,
the
if anybody
sinus
was
wound,
interested, I
I
have.
start
From
going
the
to
presentation we got on roads.
Yeah, I went and
at the Lowe's store.
I have to take
It's
that.
called Sineflex,
It's only 4 days.
Sineflex, yeah.
It's 4 days I don't have.
Side effects?
None effects, yeah.
Okay, I might try it.
Does it start till July first?
And there is
With
actually,
the-
or does it still resolution?
Spray it as often as you like. No harm. You spray it as often as you like. So it's not having fun. It doesn't hurt your sinuses. It just helps clean them out, and it does help you really nice, you know.
I think I'll have some.
I use it at night before I go to bed. I spray it at night. It helps me get through the night. For sinus effects.
Hi, Elaine.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good, thanks. Well, I'm not completely immune, but I'm so much better than I was. Hey, Gina. I thought you were in a different place, and you are. You're there. You gotta do that.
But can you please get the name right? Can you please get the name right?
I haven't called you.
You screwed up the other day with that report from Associated Charities, who called me Collins again, Jim Collins. So if you ever read anything with Associated Charities and City and Jim Collins, I'm the one that she's talking about.
You're one of those.
I bet everybody knows who they're talking about.
Yeah.
Except me, I've got a fixation. Obviously.
I was at Wickham yesterday.
Mr. Mary was a good friend.
Hey, the next meeting before the audit, we'll have pizza and stuff, you know, and salad.
Promises, promises, promises.
I promise Jim to get his name right.
Let's have it at 6. Let's have it at 6.
I got it wrong again.
It's gonna take me half an hour to run.
You're gonna have a pizza here at 6? 5.
Oh, probably most of the
Jim
morning.
Collins is, evidently there is a Jim Collins.
Right before the next meeting.
Lisa, hey, Lisa, 5:30?
Los Animas Council.
5 o'clock.
Los Animas Council.
5:30 on the, is that 5 o'clock it starts?
5 o'clock.
Okay, 5 o'clock. Yeah. Hey, you know, we got that startup
I
call.
know we should have went ahead and taken that day off anyway, even though I'd have to put in a motel. Then we can go up into the mountains and enjoy it.
At 5. 5 o'clock.
You haven't sent out an email yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I wanted to get this meeting done, because I still have to send out the notice for the special meeting. Special joint meeting next Monday.
It was earlier in the day.
ARPA Southeast agreement.
That was the one.
At 6:30.
I was gonna say.
That's what we were supposed to have this Thursday. Yes. So I'm trying to look at some of these things now before I start
Get out right at 5 and you're off.
pushing.
Mr. Mary, what is it started?
They're late night.
1 minute, oh mercy. Is this thing on?
That's fast. Yeah, that's
It's on? Okay, folks. We'll get the attorney in place here. Welcome, guys.
Did you ladies like call each other and say we're wearing green?
Oh, that's really funny.
No, we didn't.
Green and turquoise, Dave.
Even Betty has green. Even Betty.
Even the packing. Turquoise is the color of the year.
Oh, that's big.
Must be.
Doing great, sir. You?
Okay, I'd like to call to order
Las Vegas.
the La Junta City Council meeting for June 4th, 2018.
Oh.
And I'd like to invite everybody to join me in a pledge of allegiance and an invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I say an invocation, I'd like for you all to join me in just a few seconds of silence. Rick Mile, who's worked for the city for a number of years, has lost his brother the past couple of weeks, so in memory of all of the Mile family, take just a few moments of silence, please. Our Heavenly Father, we ask that you would come and join us, not just in our hearts, but in our minds. Give us direction. Give us understanding. We want to thank thee for the little bit of moisture that you've given us the past couple of days. We ask that you would see to it that we can have more, that our area can prosper and bound in its beauty and its glory, that we can truly become an attraction to our country. I thank thee for all the like minds that have come here this evening to join together, and I ask for ones that we can do in understanding and guide our city and to do the best thing we can. These things I ask. Amen. Alrighty, roll call, please.
Mestis.
Here.
Goodwin.
Here.
McIntyre.
Present.
Frine. Lovato.
Here.
Vila.
Here.
Eckhart.
Here. Alrighty. Has everybody had time to look over the minutes from the previous meeting? Any discussion or corrections need to be applied? I'm not hearing anything, so barring that nothing is, we will take them previous meetings as published. Okay, now it's time for citizens' participation for non-agenda items. Does anybody have anything this evening? Nobody this evening. Alrighty, we'll just go on then to new business. We have a resolution concerning the petition for annexation filed by the Colorado Department of Transportation. Mr. Maloff, you have some information, please.
Yes, sir, thank you. There's actually several things on the agenda that relate to this annexation. For those of us that haven't been through the process before, when we get to this point, it's pretty routine. All the homework has been done. So what we're trying to do is accomplish some legal requirements. The first legal requirement is a resolution that I would ask you to consider. The contents of that resolution all pertain to statutory, we must do this, we must do that. So that's what city management and I have been working on. The resolution speaks to that. I'd be glad to explain any or all of it to you if that's what you so desire, but it's meeting some legal requirements. Then the second thing is the first reading of the ordinance annexing the property. We'll go through that, routine ordinance, and then there's the third document, which is an ordinance changing the zoning and determining the zoning for that property. Obviously, you can't zone it until it's part of the city. So these things have a sequence to them, and I would ask, first of all, for your favorable consideration of the resolution.
I'd make a motion to accept resolution R8-2018.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded for the resolution concerning this petition of annexation. Any more discussion?
Dean, is that the one we talked about in Planning Commission?
Yeah, the annexation, you mean? Yes.
CDOT.
This is the follow-up to it, correct. The CDOT annexation out across from, down into the east a little from Winter Livestock.
Oh, okay.
All right, I find no discussion. Do I have a motion?
I made the motion.
You made the motion to accept? Okay.
We already,
Second to.
we're ready to vote.
Any second? Okay, all those in favor? And it passes. Let me take this one off.
Then,
And mine would be Daryl's.
then, Mr. Mayor, with your permission, by introduction by title only, an ordinance concerning an annexation for property.
Introduced by title only.
motion, a second?
I'd second that motion.
Second by Elaine. Any other discussion?
Which one is that? Is that the one at West Lana?
No, this would be east.
Oh,
This-
we're
this is-
still on the
this is
same.
still on-
Yeah,
yeah.
the first three.
A, B, and C go with all the same property.
Okay.
Betty?
Could we know what property that is?
It's the East Highway Department, east of town out here, they're annexing their property in.
Yeah, they're bringing in 16 acres. Yeah, right there at Highway 50 and Road 31. Yeah, Road
Highway
31.
50 and what?
Road 31.
Road 31, commonly known as the back way to the old
Drive-in.
drive-in.
The what?
The back way to the old drive-in.
The old La Junta Drive-In,
To
the
old-
back way.
Oh.
Okay, any
I
further
didn't live
discussion?
there during that period of my life.
All in favor? And motion carries.
And then, Mr. Mayor, with council's permission by introduction on first reading and ordinance amending ordinance number 1242, the zoning ordinance of the city of Lahanas concerns an application for annexation by the Colorado Department of Transportation.
Okay, have a motion?
Oh, so moved.
Ed, Mr. Vila? And a second?
I'll second it.
And a second over here, all right. Any other discussion? All in favor? And it passes unanimously also. All righty, next part. A resolution ratifying and confirming resolution number R3-2018, acknowledging and approving the issuance of refunding bonds by the Arkansas River Power Authority and related matters.
You know, there are many tiers, Mr. Mayor, with Mayor Pro Tem, with regard to bond refinancing. There's lots of lawyers involved, and there's lots of paperwork involved. Keep pulling out files tonight, and those all pertain to bond refinancing. This one is somewhat humorous to me because it is a resolution requested by the bonding company to resolve that we really did mean what we said when we asked to refinance previously a couple of months ago. So it's in essence an update. From my view, a little unnecessary, but it's not up to me. We want to make them happy. And there's nothing new in this other than to resolve a reaffirmation of the refinancing of the bonds. Now remember, with ARPA, we got two things going on at the same time. We've got the refinancing proposition, which may call for an early call of the bonds. And at the same time, we've got the tri-state negotiations going on, which would make this thing maybe either unnecessary or get phased out very quickly if tri-state ends up happening. I don't have current information on tri-state other than to tell you that there's still negotiations going on. I think Rick will address for you that there's going to be a special meeting request to discuss those aspects of it. Is that right?
Yes, it's gonna be Monday, the 11th at 6:30.
But
And
while,
it's a joint meeting between utility board and city.
but while that's going on, the refinancing is still progressing forward. So I would ask for your favorable consideration of this resolution.
All right, favorable consideration for this resolution.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Any questions?
Just to be clear, is this the Goldman Sachs deal?
Yes.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? And it carries.
So, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if Melanie could get your signature tonight, and then she needs to email me a copy of that fully executed document so I can send that to the powers that be. So even though it's set up, I think, for Jeffrey's signature, did I set it up for?
No, I
You changed it? Good. Okay,
Sure
thank
your
you for
wallet's
that.
full, Jim, before you sign it.
No, it's empty, they're gonna fill it.
You're going to jail, you're going to jail.
All righty, next part, fifth part for the evening, a resolution concerning the petition for annexation filed by the city of La Junta.
Over by West School, there are a couple of tracts of land that are completely surrounded by the city of La Junta, but have never been annexed by the city. That is a statutory definition of an enclave. And there is a whole big process of things that occur in an annexation when there's an attempt to annex property that isn't necessarily a voluntary annexation like we have with CDOT that we just got done with, or when there's an election that occurs. When there's an enclave, there doesn't have to be an election to see whether there's going to be an annexation. It's something the city can do. The statute doesn't want municipalities to be check ordered, so the statute really encourages that people clean up their act. Now, this has been something that's been festering for years and years and years and years. And there was discussion of it, I think maybe as many as 15 years ago. There are property owners within this enclave which, for whatever reason, think that becoming a part of the city is the greatest evil in the world. I don't know that that will occur, but we've had at least one property owner that's indicated that she wants to have a conversation with me. I had written to these folks to invite them to call me so we could discuss these things and what it means. And it has a lot of things that make it easier for everybody. If this is property surrounded by the city and there's a fire, that we have law that says that the city fire department still needs to respond. But questions with regard to who has authority and jurisdiction and who's to take control and so forth and so on, all could become a little difficult. If there was a criminal event that would occur, the same thing, and even more importantly in that regard, is it the sheriff that's investigating the city of La Junta and so forth. Now, we the city, have always responded to fires and police, whether it's been in the city or the county in these areas. So it's not like we're ignoring them. But it has been a difficult proposition on paper for the county and the city to get their act together and decide these things. There's a benefit to the property owners, a huge benefit. First of all, if they're receiving city services, they're paying double the rates that you and I pay as a city resident. So upon this annexation, their utility rates are going to drop significantly. The downside to it is that there is a slight real property tax that would be levied on their property. But if you take a look, and if you remember from your budgeting experiences over the last several years, the city of La Junta is really not property tax driven. We are driven by sales tax. And although there is a small amount, well, I think maybe 2% of our revenues or something are generated from property tax, there's going to be a slight raise in each of these parties' property tax, but it's not going to be significant and certainly would be offset many times by the reduction in utility services. Explaining that to some of these folks may be a little difficult because they've got this, why do I want to be in the city proposition. Another thing that I would share with you is that some of these properties are a little rough. Have some garbage and...
AKA unkempt?
That'd be a really good way of saying it. And so we're going to inherit those problems and have to clean those up. But we'll be willing to work with the citizens in trying to do that, just as we're doing with some other properties here within the city. So this resolution is simply to let a designation by the city council to let the games begin, which is for us to start doing our due diligence to bring this to fruition. The next step would be planning commission and then take a look at it. Property owners are going to be getting notice of all of this. They're going to be having plenty of opportunities to come in and discuss it if that's what they want to do. The end result hopefully will make, instead of a checkerboard between city and county of the west end of La Junta, it's going to all belong to the city. So I'd ask for your favorable consideration of that resolution. Got a lot more information than anybody wanted to know.
Does this property involve animals and such like that normally we don't have in city
No.
bounds?
On
right.
Great question.
So when they call the PD, do we tell them call the sheriff?
No. Well, if there's an emergency, we answer. We've got an intergovernmental agreement. We don't stop to figure out boundaries, we just go.
The only time I ever saw something like that on that property was for fireworks. And we went in, but we found out, okay, no, that should have been shafted with me. So, that happens. Just clear.
What length of time will this take in order for this to all come into effect?
If there is a quorum on June 16th through 17th, or whatever date the planning commission set for, which may not occur, because most of you folks will be at CML, and I've suggested to Amy that she call around and see if there's going to be a quorum. If there is a quorum, then planning commission will consider it at that meeting. Now, whether they have enough information and they're happy or not, I can't speak to that board. Then it'll come back, just like this state of Colorado annexation, for 2 readings here at your level. So the soonest it could be done is going to be early August, but it could take longer.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yes, second.
Okay, do I have a motion to go ahead with this? For this petition?
Did you get a motion?
No, I did not.
Did, you want a second?
Well,
We want a
No, I'll
motion.
make a
I need
motion.
I need a motion first.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Ed's gonna make the motion that we
Proceed
accept this
with the
petition.
annexation.
Yeah,
Well, I second that.
and then Eugene will take second,
Fine.
all right. Okay, any other discussion?
Where am I at?
Please vote.
Oh,
It stay the same, it's passing all the way through, except for the mayor. Alrighty, any committee or board reports?
Senior Citizens Council meets Thursday,
Okay,
and I haven't got their agenda yet, so I don't know what's going on.
how was their trip?
Delicious. It was a good trip.
Quite a few went?
Yeah, there was 42,
Okay.
and I think I'll go to Maine.
Alrighty, anybody else? I do have one small remark from the planning commission and such. Everything that we have passed this evening for city council was everything that was talked at the planning commission and such, so there's no great big changes or anything else going on. Okay, do we have to do this part here, the G, the city manager's part?
Pass it on.
Okay, meanwhile, we're up to you there, Mr. Riggs.
All right, you know, if you've been out and about, you know, let's take the annexations on the enclaves. You see the new sidewalk and curb and gutter, that's along there, along Belmont, and for a little short segment of Barnes Avenue. And Otero County is going halfers on that for taking in that area, those 2 enclaves. So I thought that was a good partnership.
Excuse me, who's going to, who's helping?
Otero County
Otero
Commissioner.
County?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We're starting to prep for our chip seal program. It'll be Colorado Avenue over to Maple.
Yes, sir.
On 5th Street is the big one, right? Yeah. And
Why?
then, we have some other ones.
Why?
The amount of traffic, and if you get up there, especially from like San Juan over to Carson, boy, that road's just taking a beating, especially on top. And lot of the chunks coming out are about that deep, you know. We were going to look at 8th Street, you know, because we did 9th Street last year, and if you look at all the side streets and stuff, you know, it's about like that, where, you know, here we got a high traffic area and there are bigger chunks coming out. Doesn't mean that we're not going to patch out, get it going, and especially on some of those side streets. But we need to take care of part of 5th Street. Okay, demolitions. Darren is working with EPA on 2 structures that the burnt out structures. Gigi Gibbons over at 1119 Smithland, and the property over at 1507 Edison. And they're willing to see about coming in and helping. The email today was that they were going to go talk to the lead lawyers and their boss and make sure. We're also trying to get some funds through the Colorado Department of Health on some Brownsfield funds that they have. We turned in, how many did we turn into them, Darryl?
11.
Huh?
11 streets.
11. And, to see about, getting some funds to drop those, get the asbestos out. We're also looking at the Brownsfield has, there's a component of the build grant. And now the build grant is what the feds came back out with like after the taggers, that has a brownfield component. And there's a webinar, and Darren's gonna look at that to see whether we can get an additional fund. And we're looking at all these different funding sources, just in case one doesn't complete it and stuff, because we've got multiple buildings out there. Dean's really been busy. He did go through condemnation and did get Josh Horn's property. That's over on Dalton. And it's been an eyesore for decades, guys. And so we're getting an asbestos report on it to see, what the level of contamination is.
What do those cost, Rick?
What, reports themselves?
Report for asbestos?
They can run from $1,200 to $1,500.
So, we got a lot of fronts out there. Dean did say that the state's almost been settled off of this butcher property, which is 1418 Rice. And you can tell, we've cleaned up around these properties as we're getting ready to tear them down, just to help out the neighbors and stuff. If you go by Julia Ortiz's, you'll see the same thing. If they have trees on them and they're a problem on their electric lines and stuff, we get rid of them all. So we're trying to get rid of some of the hazards as well. We're cleaning up these properties. Darren Screw's been real busy. As you can tell, we got a crew out that's working the curb lines of getting rid of all the vegetation out there that's on our streets. And we also tore out all the trees down at Wickham Addition. So if you haven't been down there, go by and look it up. We're changing the landscape as we're doing this.
That's the one on the very north end of town, down by the river bottom.
Yeah, right by the river.
See in the back out there working today, or the big truck,
Yeah, the excavator, yeah. So if you get a chance, go by those projects and check it out. We did, we're gonna hire a guy that's gonna work the weeds, and that's what he's gonna do. And we did get a grant, up to $10,000 for weed spray that Darren was able to pick up.
Very good.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good things going off. We've been proud of the guys. The tournament, I heard nothing but good things about the tournament this weekend. 23 teams and 4 Lahana teams.
3 Lahana teams.
3 Lahana teams, and our Lahana teams did good.
I think all 3 Lahana teams won.
Wow.
Is that right, Betty?
I don't know, I don't do
It was in the
sports.
paper. I just know
Sorry.
10 and unders because that's where I was 12 hours each day.
Oh, my goodness, well then
God
you
bless you.
know. I watched
Or
the Rockies,
longer. I
that's
think I was
about
there
it.
longer, actually. Yeah, it was really good. Let's see, we had Little Potter, 22nd, Vets, and Tippy with 18 out-of-town teams. So, and then OJC also had their boys basketball camp, and so from my understanding, there was not a hotel room available in La
That's what I
Junta this
heard too.
weekend.
Not a
It's
what?
good to hear.
Not a hotel room available in La
Oh,
Junta this
wow,
weekend.
that's good.
We
Yeah.
were
Sunday was the
completely
best day to go to.
Somebody even said Rocky Ford was getting spilled over.
For me it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, from one of the teams was staying out there just traveling back and forth.
nice.
Yeah.
So you didn't go during our rain delay?
Oh,
We had
no,
two.
I left the minute it started raining.
He melt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah,
Beautiful weekend.
it was.
Okay, Rick, anything else?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Adami, thank you for all you guys, all your staff
Good job, Bill.
out there working away.
Thank you, sir.
send them our thank yous.
Oh, Justin's paving started today on Belmont, working it from 5th to 6th and helping out with that drainage and all those holes. You know how it's separated off from the curb, and council last year was wanting us to start working those? You do. Back around, yeah.
Star
Everybody
cleaners
in.
open, yeah.
And Star Cleaners opened, yes, Ed told me that today, yeah. I didn't know that.
Welcome them back.
Yes.
Want to welcome them back. All righty. Now, Mr. Maloff, city attorney comments over there, sir.
Well, I like to be brief, but I'm not going to. No, actually, the only thing I have for you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, is, that doesn't sound right, does it, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
It's the first time.
Viero is using our streets. They've put in some fiber optic kinds of things in spots around the town. We have negotiated an agreement which provides that they're going to pay an administrative fee, they're going to pay a general installation fee, and then they're going to pay an annual fee to the city. Now, this is not big bucks, but it is at least some revenue that gets generated to help us. They also have an obligation to fix the streets if they tear them up or if there's any unforeseen damage to the streets. I purposely had set up this agreement so that it required council approval. I wanted to stress to Vero that we were serious about this negotiation and expected their cooperation. So they are waiting for us to give your approval. Hopefully you'll do that tonight, and then they're willing to sign the document and send the first check.
All right, I have seen their truck, the equipment around doing all their tunneling through the ground, which is pretty interesting. And I'm aware that we have had a city person out there checking things out periodically and staying with them. So I don't see anything wrong.
From
Isn't a
both,
lot of that, CCOM?
No, it's
Viero.
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 They're having a private contractor go out and bury cables. They're bringing the internet service.
Oh, okay.
and they've been, much to their credit, they've been easy to work with, both in terms of the negotiation and then the actual physical labor. They're appearing to be very good neighbors.
So does this agreement cover the right-of-way or just the streets?
Yes. Yes. Well, the streets are the right-of-way. The right-of-way are the streets. It's, there's this, you don't want to hear it. There's this fabrication in the law about right-of-way that's not used for right-of-way purposes and right-of-way that is used for right-of-way purposes. It's all right-of-way, but it's, some of it's curb, some of it's, I forget what we used to call it, that stretch of land between the curb and the sidewalk, which is always right-of-way, but it's, we let people do things on our right-of-way. It's the same thing.
All righty, I would ascertain for a motion to allow us to continue with Viero Wireless and their agreement.
I recommend that we accept the wireless agreement.
And the second, please.
I'll second that.
Question,
Sure.
is this,
For change.
You did good.
this requires second reading?
No, it's not, it's just an approval of the
Oh,
contract.
okay.
One question, it's stated that it started April of 18. So it'll still remain with
They're-
that because
they're
they're gonna
almost
pay
done.
every April.
Yeah, but they're still gonna pay the initial installation fee, the setup fees in the first year, and then it renews every April after that.
April after that.
Oh, hey, and I did notice on the way down that Wayne Walters had pulled in and was starting to dig out our sewer line at City Park. So, yeah, I hadn't seen that coming.
All righty, back to the motion. We've had a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? And everything passes again.
And with that, it's always a privilege to be here. Thank you.
Privilege to have you here, sir. Okay, is there anything else that needs to come before council this evening?
I'd like to know if, Mayor, if I could,
Sure.
get a report from the chief of police concerning heroin and drugs and all that. Are we reducing that, or is it increasing? You need more people, or what? could you give us an overview without giving away evidence?
We're working on it. We have some things that'll be coming out here to the public before long, so I'd kind of like to keep it, until then.
A major bust. No, I just wondered about families too, because, you hear the news and all that, and it's destroying a lot of good families, and I know a few families that have been destroyed here in Lahana because of it, but
Yes.
I just wondered if it's tempered down, or,
I believe it has, and then next week when we come out,
Okay.
you'll see why.
what are you gonna do, make an announcement, or?
Yeah.
Okay. To us or to Betty?
It's with some other agencies, so it'll probably get to the press first.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, are we on our governing body comments?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
where we're at?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for now, man. Now, I got something to ask. On our street, on Grace Avenue and 12th Street, that stopped, that park, we're going to have to do something to slow that traffic down. I was out there today, and a pickup come whizzing by there and slowed down at the stop sign, but never stopped. There were two children walking down the street. If they were walking a little bit faster, they would have been hit. The recommendation would be to put a four-way stop there, or we put some bumps in those roads, somehow to slow the traffic down.
Hey, Darren, did we get those speed signs?
Yes, sir.
Let's be careful
Waiting
here.
for the last location.
Yeah, no, we got some,
that
watch out for
your
kids and
board
stuff.
Cannot legislate traffic issues that can be referred to the traffic engineer. That's that good-looking guy sitting in the back with the, well, there's not very many good-looking guys back there.
Raise your hand so we'll know which one.
So, we may have ideas, but he has to go through his protocol before he can make some adjustments. Maybe in everybody's mind, stop signs, whatever might be solutions, or even speed bumps, but it'll be his call after he does his protocol.
We got children play signs, slow
Children play
down,
with
coming.
lighting or something.
Yeah. I think we've even flagged out where we're gonna put them, right?
Just waiting for the last location, sir.
Okay.
It's in the process, Eugene.
Okay, because even, they whiz by another thing, that park. We have noticed that after hours, people go to that gazebo there and start drinking beer, whiskey, whatever it is.
I do not.
We can have, we'll have some officers go by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're gonna have a car go by there after hours?
Yeah, we'll have them go by, but they might be on other calls, so if somebody sees it, it'd be best if it's called in immediately when it's seen.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know why they started that, but they found an easy way of sitting down and yakking in a park they shouldn't be. Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me, but I know the intersection you're speaking of.
It's at
Sixth
Red
and
Crane
Bradish,
Park.
or 12th and Bradish.
The what?
Red Crane Park at 12th and Bradish.
Oh, okay.
Okay, anything else? Any more discussions? Then I hereby call us adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Well done.
I thought they were talking about the city park.
He took 8 of it.
No, that one.